a debt of gratitude, long overdue. Everyone knows that Leonard Swidler was a pioneer in ecumenism, pluralism, and Christian feminism, but not many know that he was also an unlikely pioneer in Jewish feminism in these two ways. In 1976, he published Women in Judaism, his path-breaking book in which he gathered a vast array of original sources from Torah, Talmud, the Apocrypha, wisdom literature, and more on the status of women in formative Judaism. Len was among the very first to gather these sources, both positive and negative ones, which were not systematically organized in a single place in their original works, but rather scattered throughout. I don't know this by heart. I need a little light. Often discontinuous with surrounding texts and hard to locate. I, like many other budding Jewish feminists of those years, used Len's work as a starting point of reference. This was the days before Google searches. In a sense, Len was our Google. You could look up a topic in his book, find the footnote references, and go right to the original source. What led a Christian male to ferret out original sources on women in Judaism? Leonard Swidler is a man all of a piece. His interest in these sources grew out of his ecumenical work and his deep understanding of the influence of early Judaism on Christianity, which themselves grew out of his openness to the teachings of Pope John XXIII. Len took the new teachings of the Church not just as welcome ideology, but as guideline for all of his life's work. As he wrote, I hope also to study the status of women in formative Christianity, but that could not be attempted until the study of Jewish women was completed. So ultimately, Jewish feminists were the beneficiaries. Secondly, that model of a Christian feminist, or rather feminist, as Arlene was full partner, who came out of a tradition of mysterium tremendum and wanted to stay there, was extremely valuable to me as an Orthodox Jewish feminism. In the 60s and 70s, there were a number of important religious feminists, Christian and Jewish alike, who were ready to throw out the baby with the bathwater. But as Len articulated in his writings and Arlene in hers, the challenge was to move forward with a hermeneutic of equality, yet not pull away from one's deep faith commitments, which included law and sacred tradition. Always ahead of his time, of their time, the Swidler challenge remains the larger challenge of religious feminists today, universally embraced by women and men of every faith. Len has been a man who has always lived his feminism in his daily life, not only in his nurturing of many female scholars and writers, not only in his care to avoid tokenism in his tables of contents and rosters of conference participants, but also the way he lived his life with Arlene. When Yitz and I were younger and just beginning to work together in our professional lives, there were not a whole lot of couples out there who worked in the same fields. Len and Arlene and Roy and Alice Eckhart were among the very few, and they served as significant role models for us as to how to complement each other, to work together with dignity and respect, rather than, as so many women of that era now report, with women serving as enablers of and subordinates to their husbands, instead of as the colleagues they actually were. Everyone knew from Len that Arlene was a major force behind the creation of JES, and she often gave him credit, or always gave him credit, for so many of her accomplishments. There was love and professional collegiality and a devotion that lasted all of their lives together, that served so many others who looked at their professional lives for instruction. So Len Swidler, after 40 years, I am so happy to say thank you. And on behalf of so many others, thank you for all that you have done and for being who you are. Thank you so much.
I met Len in the early 1970s at the bat mitzvah of one of his doctoral students. I knew that he had already made his mark in the not yet recognized arena of women's concerns. In 1979 and 80, Judith Plasko and Carol Christ put religious feminism in the center ring of American religious thought, with women's spirit rising, diving deep and surfacing, and sin, sex, and grace. But Len had presciently written his groundbreaking article, Jesus Was a Feminist, 8 years earlier, before their books were born. The article has been reproduced dozens of times and has had a powerful reception history. Len is one of the few men who championed women's concerns in the church quite early on, inspired by Arlene, as we have heard, who was writing in support of women in the Roman Church in the early 1970s. My husband of blessed memory and I contributed a piece to her sister celebration's 9 worship experiences of 1974. Len's 1976 book, Women in Judaism, that Blue has referred to, integrated his concern for the well-being of both Jews and women. And his biblical affirmations of women in 1979 forwarded that interest, as did his unorthodox claim that a woman authored a proto-Lucan gospel. Yet his crowning achievement in the area of feminism was to gestate almost another 4 decades. So busy was Len with all the activities that you have heard about. Finally, in 2007, if someone has a copy, please lift it up. Jesus Was a Feminist became a full book, what the Gospels reveal about his revolutionary perspective finally appeared. It makes striking claims also, including that the author of the Gospel of John was Mary Magdalene. Len's commitment to women's concerns is unshakable. He has forwarded dozens of scholars, myself included. I was one that Nancy mentioned. My first academic article was published in JES in 1981. Len shepherded me attentively every step of the way in my doctoral program here. In many ways, I owe my professional life to Leonard Swidler. He is one of God's great blessings to us. Thank you.